Welcome back to the channel, Guardians. With Retrofit now patched, that heavy slot may feel a little bit empty, so maybe you might have thought of taking the new seasonal linear fusion rifle for a spin. If that's the case, this video is just for you. We're going to take a look at the new stasis linear called Fire and Forget, and we will go over the two best rolls that you will want to keep in mind, and we will compare its performance against other linears. Let's get to it. And Forget is an aggressive free burst stasis linear fusion rifle that dropped with Season 19, and it's the first craftable weapon of its archetype. Now, I didn't know this, but it was bugged, something to do with the recoil, but luckily I managed to craft it post-patch. Aggressive frame linears are a bit tricky as you can easily miss part of your burst, especially on targets with small crit spots, so you want the weapon to be as stable as possible. Landing all crits is super rewarding as the damage output is significant. Let's take a look at what rolls you can go for, starting with the masterwork. As discussed, we want the weapon to be hella stable, so you want a stability masterwork. The first column is pretty straightforward. You want to slot polygonal rifling, which gives you a 10-point boost to stability. For the second, it's a tricky one. You could go for stability and slot particle repeater, or if you are a risk taker like me, liquid coils will increase your damage output at the cost of charge time. Both are good options, just depends on your playstyle. For the third column, surplus may be tempting, but in order to actually start a damage phase, you will tend to use abilities, so I strongly recommend field prep. Not only does it give you a massive reload speed boost when crouched, the enhanced version gives you an extra free reserve bursts. Now, the fourth column requires a breakdown as there is a lot of options. Avoid Vorpal Weapon. It's useless on heavy weapons as it only grants a 10% buff against champions and bosses. Many players make this mistake when there are better options, such as Focus Fury, which grants 20%. It's not very convenient, however, in certain scenarios, for example, taking out a champion, as it requires you to hit at least 7 individual hits, bearing in mind the mag for this weapon is 5, meaning 15 hits. If you start missing parts of your burst, you will lose out on damage. Proc it though, and it gives you that nice 20% buff. I personally do prefer Frenzy, but why? The buff may only be 15%, but you could have it procced at the beginning of a gunfight, meaning your output will be higher than using Focus Fury. Being a stasis weapon and pairing this with a stasis subclass, you can easily get an additional 25% damage buff thanks to Font of Might, as stasis elemental wells are super easy to generate. Consider you are on a stasis hunter, pop your super paired with the Supreme Wellmaker mod, which creates stasis elemental wells next to you as you pop. You will automatically get a 25% damage buff to all stasis weapons, allowing for huge damage numbers. Font is getting nerfed however very soon, so take advantage of it while you can. All this can be happening, and we haven't even discussed that it's a Vice weapon, meaning it inherits the Vice Stinger trait. When procced, it refills the magazine and individual rounds of a burst can proc it, making it extremely probable that you will proc during your DPS phase. We've just gone over the DPS God role, but there is another role that is currently dormant and will turn this linear into an anti-champion freak. But before we get into that, please consider dropping a like for that sexy YouTube algorithm if you are finding this informative so far, and subscribe to help the channel grow. On with it. This weapon can roll Chill Clip in the fourth column. Effectively, this allows Fire and Forget to slow and freeze combatants. Bungie recently announced that in Lightfall, Stasis Slow will stun overloads, Radiant weapons will pierce barrier shields, and Shatter will stun unstoppables. Pairing this weapon rolled with Chill Clip and a solo subclass that provides Radiant, this weapon will be capable of stunning all 3 champion types. Yes, you may be thinking, oh, but a special weapon can do the same. It's all about options, people. Don't sleep on Chill Clip. I strongly believe this role will become extremely powerful in Lightfall. Stormchaser is also an aggressive linear, and by inspecting potential roles on D2 Foundry, Stormchaser's third column has excellent perks versus Fire and Forget, such as Rapid Hit and Clown Cartridge. And in the fourth column, it can roll Firing Line, which grants a 20% crit damage increase when near 2 or more allies. You cannot proc this solo obviously, so for solo play, you're better off with Frenzy. The issue Stormchaser will have is that you will be forced to reload during DPS phases regardless, and is probably best used when in a raid as Firing Line will grant the highest damage buff to the weapon. When comparing against Cataclysmic, arguably the best linear adaptive frame in the game thanks to the 35% damage increase that Bait and Switch provides, Fire and Forget can out-damage it when fighting the Harpy dungeon boss as long as Vice Stinger procs. The main advantage Fire has over these linears is its origin trait, allowing for that instant reload during damage phases. Its enhanced perks due to its craftability and the fact that Chill Clip will make this weapon capable of dealing with champions in Lightfall. Bungie, for the love of God, allow us to craft weapons that allow to unlock an additional slot perk, which can be changed when inspecting the gun. This is the most perfect use case for it here. Overall, the gun is solid, and I strongly believe the Chill Clip role will become very relevant in the next DLC. But for now, it seems we have a new linear DPS King 2, as it out-damages Cataclysmic. Anyhow, that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and hit me up in the comment section with your thoughts, and slap that like button for the sexy YouTube algorithm, subscribe for future content, and I'll see you soon. We will be reviewing the Ikelos SMG next. I've only just crafted it and we'll be breaking it in this week. This was Plasma Alchemist. Your viewership is much appreciated. Until next time, see you later, Guardian.
Fight forever, Guardian!